Hi, this is Natalie of the Vintage Cross Stitch Niche. This is an experiment. So, this beautiful sampler called Louisa B. Snow Sampler, can you see? Has fabric with lines in it. Can you see it? I want to recreate that. How? Well, I purchased some instant coffee and some instant tea, and we're going to use some painter's tape to make lines, and we're going to experiment. I'm using my granite countertop because it's sealed, it's easy to clean. I was going to put some foil or something down, but it would have been, I think, worse. So we're going to try this. Okay? Let's focus on the fabric. I hope you can see. This fabric is just a plain piece of linen. I don't know what count it is. I didn't have it marked, but it does look pretty high count. It's got to be 40 count or 36, I'm not sure. But it's plain linen, cream color. I think the dye is going to bleed through and color the whole linen, but I'm not sure, so we'll see. Let me get the ingredients. Hold on. So here's some ingredients. Let me get the light up a little bit. Oop. So you can see a little better. I have 2 little cups, instant coffee, instant tea. I got this on Amazon. Believe it or not, this organic instant coffee was pretty cheap. It's a huge thing. But we're going to use hot water, and we're going to use painter's tape. I've never done this before, so this is an experiment. So let's focus on the fabric. See if I can get this in view. I hope you can. I'm doing the best I can with this. Okay, so I tried to tape down the fabric a little so it was not so wrinkly. I'm going to get a bunch of these. The blue painter's tape is good because you can pretty much see what you're doing. And I'm going to put the painter's tape across the fabric. And so we can make the lines. I don't know if this painter's tape is going to go on is going to go in the oven. I'm not sure. It probably should, but we got the lines. Hey, honey. See what I'm doing with the tape? What do you think? You think it's going to work? Honey? Yeah? Okay. So I'm just doing these lines. So we're just going to line our linen. This could have been a little thinner, the painter's tape. It might have worked better, but that's okay. This is an experiment, and I think this might be the thinnest it comes. Kelly, does this come any thinner? Painter's tape? No? Okay. Maybe they make a craft kind of painter's tape that's thinner. I would have liked the lines a little closer together, but that's okay. So far we've got this nice, seems to be going well. Painter's tape. Painter's tape. So I've already tried this with regular tape just to let you know, and I will show you at the end the result. Not that the fabric is ugly, it's nice, but it didn't work. It sort of just, there was no lines on it. It sort of just all mushed together. I think I overdid it too, but that's why I decided, let's try painter's tape. Painter's tape is nice. It's not going to damage anything. It's made for this type of work. Lines. Now, why not buy pre-lined fabric? Because I don't think it's going to look as good as our own coffee and tea dyed fabric. We're going to use both. My hope is that it does go underneath the tape and makes this look vintage. We can always spray it afterwards with some coffee or tea if I don't think it's vintagey enough. I don't think that sampler is very big. It said it was on some sort of 14 count of some sort, which I actually don't know. I don't think it's big. So let's just finish taping this up and then we'll go make, my husband's hungry. He's got a can of tuna and of Ritz crackers with his dad. He wants lunch. I don't think this is gonna come out bad, so hold on. Okay, take a break. Okay, so, let's see, are we back? Are we filming? I hope. Yes, we are. Okay, so we've got this prepared. What I have here are 2 little cups of water, instant coffee and instant tea, a paintbrush, little cinnamon. Why not? Okay, so let me get maybe a small whisk, maybe a little mini whisk. It might make it easier. So let's first make the coffee. Here you go. It's a lot of coffee for this small thing. And now let's make the tea. I would never drink this. I'm a real coffee drinker, so this is sort of sacrilege, but let's get our tea. This is instant tea. You could also use tea bags, of course, but don't worry if you spill a little on here. It's okay. So we've got this nice, real dark brew. Oh, I've already spilled some, but that's okay. Sort of mix it in. Oh, sort of mix it in. Okay. Let's start painting. I would brush it on there real good. Can you just spray the whole thing? Sure, why not? Just put the whole thing in a spray bottle. I'd rather paint it because I think you get it much more uneven, alternating between coffee and tea. Definitely want this to soak into the fabric, so you want to put a lot. You want it to go underneath, that's good. I'm talking like I know what I'm doing, but I do. I've dyed before, but I certainly haven't done it with the painter's tape before. So, but you definitely do want it to go underneath. That I could tell you for sure. Otherwise, it's going to just look like striped fabric, which is okay. But you want it to be a little more. Okay. So we're just, you've got your oven on at 250. You don't want a real hot oven, otherwise you're going to start a fire. Low oven is fine. You're not going to start a fire. You're not going to do this when you're not home. You're going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to put the painter's tape in the oven. If it goes on fire, we'll put it out. It's an experiment. Very unevenly mixing. Can leave some darker, some lighter. You want this to be uneven. Okay. Somebody did email me and ask me if I'd make them a piece of fabric. I answered them, but I did not hear back. The answer is probably yes. If you need it right away, I don't know if that's possible, but usually when I make fabric, I make a whole bunch of it. I'll probably use this leftover stuff just to... We're just about half done. This is getting boring to me. Okay. It is getting underneath, but that's fine because you can clean it up. You can do this on a special table. I just like to work in my kitchen on my island for everything. That's just me. Sort of get our dye in there. You could do this with dye. Dye's a lot messier. I wouldn't do that in my kitchen. I've never used dye. I've only used natural dyes. You can use beet. I have beets, and I was going to cook them just to save the red stuff and make dye out of them. And I thought that would be fun to do a piece with red. Anything I dye is going to have natural dyes. It's all going to be plant-based. It's not going to be synthetic. I don't want to get this all over my cabinet, so this one will sort of just go dab on in places, but be a little more ginger. Putting some tea and some coffee, hoping it gets underneath. Okay. Now, let's get a small little strainer. And let's put some crystals of the coffee and tea, not much, but put some in here. Oop, that was way too much. But we can put that here. It's going to be a big blotch, but that's okay. Probably should do this a different way. Would I just gently put this over so you have some blotches, maybe just a sprinkle. A little bit more coffee. I'm not going to use that again because it's too fine for that. A little bit of cinnamon, not much cinnamon, but a little bit. Okay, got a big mess here. Cinnamon just smells real nice. And that's another color. I have to go get my pan. I accidentally left this in the oven, so I'm just gonna, I don't have another pan. Yes, I do. Let me get another pan. This is just one of those broiler pans with sides. Might work better. Just so you can look at me. Might work better. Okay. So I'm going to line the pan with parchment paper. And now we have to get this somehow onto here. So I'm just going to pick up the whole thing. Painter's tape comes right up. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to leave the tape on. We're going to squish it up. I'm gonna put, so we have this squished up. And then maybe take just a little bit more coffee over the top. And we're gonna bake it just like this. Now I have some extra dye. I really don't want that to go to waste. So let me find maybe some pieces of fabric to throw in the dye so we can dye a little bit more. All right, let's get a piece, any piece. This is a piece of Platinum Belfast. And let's dye this. Let's get a big bowl. I was a professional video maker. I'd already have this done. Let's get a bowl. Let's pour our coffee and our tea in here. Let's soak this up. Soak this up. If there's not enough liquid, then we can something else. But we're going to soak this up, and we're just not going to do anything else. And it's not fully covered, and that's okay. We're going to make room on our treat, and we're going to put this on as a blob. And get another spoon. So I'll have to stick my hands in there. Get a spoon and throw some more instant coffee granules on top. Maybe underneath a little bit, just to see. I'm just going to use coffee on this one. Instant granules. And we're going to bake this now until it's done. That's going to be in the oven for at least a half hour, and I will come back to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Just to show you a piece that I tried with regular tape this morning. It actually looks pretty good. It's going to look even better once it's nice and ironed and everything. I'm going to put this one for sale, why not? But obviously the stripes didn't work at all because I didn't use the right kind of tape. And I'm hoping that the painter's tape does a job, especially leaving it on. I took it off here. So I will be back. So now you can see the tablecloths that have come from the outside, that are all nice and sunny dried. Let's see what we got. This one's a pretty basic one. Very nice coloration. And this one is a real vintagey one. And this one is the one with the stripes. And look, it does have stripes. Let's turn it over. I got to figure out how to do this. I think we're going to use the striped one for this. So stripes. What do you think? All right, so these look a lot better when they're ironed. I'm going to go iron them. So these are now ironed. This is a piece that the background was, what was it? Hold on, let me get the light a little better. There we go. This was R&R French vanilla. That was the background. And this is what it looks like, all nice and ironed. The background of this one was cream. This was a one that was not very, it was really barely, I showed you, was barely left in the coffee and tea, so I just put a little bit in there. This was lightly done, and the original is Weigart cream. And here, of course, is the striped one. I hope you can appreciate it. Yes, you can. Is the striped linen. I'll have to do it in half just so you can see the striped linen, which is going to be for Louisa Snow. So, from the vintage cross stitch niche, I've showed you my easy brew technique using instant coffee, instant tea, some hot water, depending on the effect you want, either just soaking or putting it or painting on. You can. I showed you the technique of using the painter's tape to get maybe some lines or some designs in there. You certainly could be, who knows what you can do. Some very interesting designs. And baking, rinsing, sun drying, and ironing. And as you can see, I've changed my shirt to this is my Give Blood shirt. My hair is still pretty bad today because it is Saturday, and this is Natalie from the Vintage Cross Stitch Niche. I hope you enjoyed our video, my video. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Natalie of the Vintage Cross Stitch Niche in another installment of dyeing. So let's see what we can do today. I have a bunch of plain linen, which I really want to jazz up. This is unknown linen. It's all cream and off-white. And it's different qualities. Let's see, what is this one say? Just cream cashel, different qualities, different types. I also have beets, cooking red beets. Yellow, see? Let's make sure you can see that. Yellow beets. And all the peels from both beets, as well as the skin, the peels, the extra stuff, which I think is going to make a different color because it's got some of the, well, it was washed, but still it's got the terroir in the skin. So I put down some foil because I don't feel like having a gigantic mess. The coffee made a mess, but I knew that would come out. I'm not so sure about the beets. So first, let's get a piece of fabric that we're going to paint. Actually, first, hold on one moment. I'm going to turn the oven on. I'm back. So we have to decide, do we want to dip? Do we want to paint? I don't know. What do we want to do? Can you see my linen? Okay. So let's get maybe a paintbrush and some sort of utensil. I think you can hear this in the background, so hold on one second. Okay, so now it's quieter. So I got some utensils here. Why do I need these for? Well, we're going to start off with the, I want to make sure you can see this well. We're going to start off with the beets that are in the microwave with all the different things on them. So let's put this in different areas. Whoop. I have a feeling this will stain, so. So we're going to take this, put this in different areas. I'm actually going to bake it like this because I want everything to leach. And leach in different areas and be darker in different areas. Whoop. Almost lost my camera. Let's get a little bit more. What could we use? What thing interesting can we use to put a little here? Isn't that pretty? We could take a little more dye and just sprinkle it around. Okay, there we go. Now we need to make this even more interesting. Hence my coffee and my tea. So maybe we'll take a little sprinkle of coffee, the coffee flakes. Okay. And a little sprinkle of the tea flakes. Or the powdered tea, it's not tea, this is just powder. Okay. Is this one ready to go? I just want to put a little more around the edges. Let's get a little bit more, just blotches. I want this to have a lot of color on it. The reason I'm going to leave the vegetables is because I know in that area the color will be even more intense. I'm talking like an expert, but I know this is going to work just based on the stuff I've already done. All right, what are we going to do next? We're going to gather this up, gather, and put it on a cookie sheet. I'll bring it back sort of in a bunch. And usually I'll take a little bit more of the coffee and just throw it over the top. Like that. That's one piece. Okay, washing my hands. Let's get another piece in, let's see. Can you see? Yes, it's like, hi. Let's get another piece of linen that we're just going to use the yellow on. Let's wipe this down. Good. Let's get some more towels. All right, so this is just a piece of white linen. We're going to use the yellow. This is pretty hot. We've got yellow dye, yellow dye sort of splashed all over. Okay, this is from yellow beets. Okay, I just want to use the yellow dye again. It'll go together. I'm just putting it on. I just want it to be uneven. Oh, sort of a blotch in the middle. Yeah, okay. Let's put this back. Once again, let's get some tea powder. And some coffee, instant coffee. Okay. Gather this up into a nice bundle. We want this to be really uneven. Okay. Then let's put this on our tray. Take a little bit on our tray. Take a little bit more coffee over the top, just to give it some extra oomph. Okay. Almost there. Now for our third experimental piece. Let's pick a piece of linen. Let's get a nice piece of cream linen. Once again, all of these are going to be different depending on the linen. And we're going to use just the red. This is sort of hot. So we've got, it's actually a little on the orangey side. Interesting. Maybe because I didn't let it sit long enough. So we're going to put it all over different areas. Try not to get it on your clothes. I know it's hot, but that's okay. This is sort of a white linen. I might do this on a piece of cream just to see how this comes out as well. I said this is cream. This is off-white, excuse me. All right, so we've got all our red beet. Okay. Coffee, instant coffee. Instant tea. Let's gather it up. Perfect. Just gather it up. Put it on our tray. Oh, sprinkle with a little more coffee. You can see that. I just wipe my hands on there because okay. One more. I keep washing my hands. I don't want my hands to be stained for work. It looks bad. Examining patients. Oh, we've got a lot of stuff here, but that's okay. All right, let's leave this. This is the red. Looks sort of orangey, but let's get a piece of, this is casual linen. Okay, so we just put red on it. Now let's get some more of our peels and pieces. Peels. Ow, that's hot. Maybe a little bit of this juice. Okay. Maybe a little bit of the yellow juice. Okay, I think we've got plenty there. Remember, it's going to leach out. Okay. Once again, coffee, this is tea. Actually, we're going to do this one just tea. See what this one looks like, just tea. Gather it in an irregular sort of fashion. And we'll put it on our tray. I think I'm just going to put 4 on the tray. I'll show you the tray before it goes in the oven. Let's make sure our peels are in there. Okay. I'm not going to sprinkle that one because I'm just using the tea for that one. I know you can hear me. I'm just washing my hands because this is pretty messy. Okay. And I think this worked. Containing some of the juices. Let's just do a little more cleaning as I'm talking to you. Keep some rags here. Okay. All right. Now, let's look and see what our concoction looks like before it goes in the oven. This one needs a little more. I'm just going to dip it down there. Remember, everything's going to leach, so there's no worries. So we've got one that's peels, just peels. I think it's that one. I don't know. Does it matter? I guess not. Well, I'll figure it out at the end. One that's just peels, one that's just yellow, one that is a mixture of all 3, and one that's just red with tea powder and with coffee. Let's put this in the oven and we will be back later. Okay, so I'm back and I want to show you our vegetable dyed linen. Let me get the light on so you can see. Can you see with all that in the background? I don't know. That light. Let's just make sure. So we're going to have to put this up against something. Well, I don't know. We'll do the best I can. I'll fold it in half. So here is one. Okay. Here's another. Right? Make sure you see this with there's a lot of glare on here, but here. Put this down a little bit. Okay. And here's the third. See, you can see the hints of yellow and red in these, but not as intense as I wanted it because I think this one's a little on the darker side. It looks like a lot of the red took over. It's not red, but you can see red tones all over. Okay, so I think a lot of this linen is not the color I want. So I saved the beet juices from yesterday, and I have 2 more pieces of fabric. What does this say? It just says cream, and this one is unmarked. Okay. Once again, I'm going to use some foil need more foil than this. The reason I'm using foil is that it comes in bigger sheets. I have that extra large foil. And I think we're gonna, let's get rid of that. I think we're gonna just paint this with our colors, and let's see how it comes out. Okay. Can you see all that? I hope so. We'll have to see how this video comes out. All right, let me get a paintbrush. Let's see. Here's a paintbrush. And we're just going to start. Oh, there we go. I want this one to be Christmassy, so I am just going to pour paint on in all different areas. It's too slow for me. I'm gonna have to get something else. Like I said, I'm learning as I go along. Let's see what I got in the kitchen to use. But in the meantime, we got some of this. Let's see what we got in the kitchen. Spoons. I have this syringe looking thing. Let's see if I can find the other pieces to it. Hear me thumbing through my drawer. I don't know where it is. See, I have this syringe looking thing that is for injecting turkeys. That would have worked well. Here we go. This is a giant syringe thing. I gotta find the needles now. Let's see, what did I do with the needles? Well, this is taking too long, so let's forget about the syringe thing for now. Let's put this back. Maybe we can just use a small ladle. Just to, we want to put this beet juice in all different areas. And all different areas. I would like it to absorb more in one area than the other. Okay. Perhaps if I had the beets, that would work. I do have some of the leftover beets, but all right, that's plenty. As you can get the idea. Now it's going to look bigger than this. It's going to look better than this because we're going to absorb some of the beet juice. We want it to be splotchy. And we're going to put it on our container. Okay, so we can bake it. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's get a paper towel. Because we want to use the yellow now. Okay. All right. You don't have to be too perfect. All right. Remember, this is a different base. This one is got a little. Somebody started something on it, so I don't know where this came from, but maybe I did. Let's take our yellow. Yellow. Now, of course, it's going to have a little red in it because my brush had a little red in it. That's okay. We can have a tiny bit of red in a few different areas, but I want this to be mostly yellow. This is a little darker cream linen. Now you would have thrown out this juice. You would have made yourself beets. I'm thinking what other vegetables I can use. What makes good green? Linen. What do you call it? There we go. I think that's plenty. Just put a few splashes of red, which may become orange. Okay. Bunch it up as much as possible. This might be more subtle, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to put it too close to the beet one because it'll pick up the red, although that's not a bad thing. It'll be okay. Okay. All right. Okay, of course I still got beet dye on here. On my floor. On my granite. I better clean this up. I don't want it staining because this stuff does stain. But as long as your granite's sealed, you're fine. Okay. We'll have to clean up more. As you can see, this stuff really is pretty messy. Do you really need to see me cleaning up? Well, probably not, but you might as well get the real deal how this is done and what your pitfalls are. So here's our two different colors. Got to get it off the floor before they go into the oven. Let's put them in the oven. Let's put them in the oven. I will see you back. Here is the beets. There's the yellow beet and the red beet dyed linen straight out of the oven. Okay, so question is, do I really want to rinse this? I'm afraid I'm going to take it, but I do want to rinse it. I don't want people to get it on them. And right now the linen, the way I make it, it's not going to get on you. I rinse it and it comes out perfect. So let's do this again, and then it is a rainy, stormy day out, so I'm going to rebake it just to dry it afterwards. Okay, so let's see if we can get this perfect. So I'm going to show you how I rinse the linen. This is cold water, and this linen, just see how the water's pink. You don't want to rinse all of your dye out. You just want to get it enough so that the water is not so pink. And that's much lighter water. Okay. And this water, it's pretty light now. Okay. See the other one? This is the yellow. Since I can barely see the dye, you can see a little bit. I'm just going to lightly rinse this. Okay. Now I'm going to put them back in the oven. I'll even take you to see since I don't think I've showed you the ironing process, I will take you. A quick segment on making sure the edges of your fabric don't fray. Let's see if can we get this good. Let's see. Can you see that? I think you can, right?
Who are you talking to?
Talking to my camera, Kelly. Okay. Just trying to make sure, whoop, that the edges don't fray. Okay, so this is the stuff you use. Fray check. Put some in a little container and then start painting. It's a lot. Otherwise, it sort of gets all over. Just paint the edges. And keep going. Okay. That's one way of doing it, the better way. Okay, you can see it does bleed a little bit, but that's okay. Then you want to do the whole thing. The other way to do it is to just sort of pour it on. The only problem with that is it tends to come out a little bit fast. So you gotta just sort of move quickly. There's some strings hanging here already. I'll just cut those off after. This is definitely the faster way, but you do waste more. There we go. This has a selvage, so we're good. One more. Okay. Okay. It does not stain the fabric, it does dry clear. Let it dry overnight. It already bled a little, but that's okay. Let it dry overnight. Voila. It's done. That's our quick segment. Okay, so I know I told you I was going to have you watch me iron, but I wanted to get it over with. I'm tired, it's late, I got work tomorrow, so I just ironed it. Anyway, we have our two pieces of linen. One is the yellow beet dyed. See if there's too much light in this room. I'm trying to make sure you see the right colors. Yellow beet dyed. Let's see. Here it is. It's got a little bit of red in it. But it's the yellow beet dyed. Does this look like yellow to you? It does look like yellow to me. It's just hard to know with this the camera. And this one I really like. This is the red beet dyed, and it's pink with red. Oh, they both smell so good. There you go. Red beet dyed. Pink linen. Let's hold them together. Yellow beet and red beet. So we've done some vegetable dyeing with combinations of different things. We've done just coffee and tea. We've done coffee, tea, and beet. And this is just beet. And this wasn't really soaked very long. I think if I soaked it or cooked it, it would all be this kind of red, beet red color, which I think would look really nice. So I really got to make sure you can see this. Let me change the light one more time. I think sometimes lighting makes a huge difference, so you can just see the colors. Anyway, from the vintage cross-stitch niche, I need a catchy little phrase. So see what you can come up with and write it underneath. Have a good evening. Hi, this is Natalie again. Our final installment of dyeing is going to be, hold on, blueberry dyeing. I hope this is good lighting. Problem is I have a window behind me, so we've got our, let's see if we can make that. Blueberry dyeing. I wanted this to be warmer, so I'm going to cook this a little more. I'm going to cook the blueberry a little bit more. Let's reiterate what we already have. We have some coffee and tea, Natalie dyed, on different counts. Most of it on cream, but some of it on other qualities of linen. This one's a little darker because I let it soak a little bit more. Here's one more piece of more subtly dyed Natalie linen. And here is the yellow beet linen with sort of yellow specks and also some little bit of red in there. And this is completely red beet dyed linen, which has got a pink hue with some red variegation. So what do I have today? I have some leftover yellow beet, some leftover red beet. We've got the blueberry cooking, and the reason is I took some frozen blueberries, put it with a little bit of water in a Pyrex dish, and I'm sort of heating it up. I want the blueberry juices to really get strong. Let's see. I don't have a paintbrush today, but I do have one of these. This is not in great shape, but it is one of these foam brushes. Let's see what else we can get that will help us. Maybe a spoon. This is a little tea for straining tea, vintage tea strainer. I thought about making a kit out of this because I think that would be really nice, cross-stitched actually. So that's an idea. I was thinking about it, and actually I think it would work very well. But that's the tea strainer. I put the oven at 300, and the reason I put it a little bit higher is that I'm in a hurry this morning, so I wanted to dry a little quicker. I will keep an eye to make sure there's not a fire. What else? What else do we have? Oh, let me show you the linens. I'm running out of linen to dye, and this is the last batch. This is labeled 28 count Danish linen, whatever that means. Just a small piece. This one is white shelf French lace, fairly big piece. This one is platinum Belfast, 30 count. That was 32. This is 30 count platinum Belfast. A nice big piece. Looks like an oversized quarter. And this is some sort of dark cream or antique color mystery linen. It's unmarked, and I believe it's 28. I had a little list on it. Yep, no, this says 36 count, which doesn't look like it, but apparently it is. People on my Facebook page, the Vintage Cross Stitch Niche, I did ask if anybody wanted to try some of my linen. My idea is I'd like to see people's projects on it. Again, this is fun. I do have an idea about maybe starting a little business about my natural dyed linen. Maybe even selling some to shops. That's if I can make enough in between my job and everything. Or maybe doing custom dyed, where you send me the piece in the mail. You just mail me whatever piece of linen, the size that you want, and the quality, and the brand, or whatever. You tell me what you want it dyed with and how you want it dyed, and I send it back. I thought that would be a fun little thing to do. Again, we really don't make tons of money on this. Maybe a little bit, $5-10 here and there, and that's not very much money, but it maybe does pay for some thread. The oven costs money to bake, my time costs money, and of course the blueberries and the vegetables cost money. But you never know, maybe I'll make a little business. I would love to have people using my linen. But anyway, this is the final installment. I do apologize if it all seems sort of discombobulated because I'm doing this in pieces. Let me go get my tray from the oven. Okay. Get my tray from the oven. And I did preheat the oven, so this one is a little hot. I'm going to put 2 trays in, and the reason I'm putting 2 trays in, again, I'm pressed for time. Here's another tray. I'm just going to put some, again, parchment paper on here. This parchment paper is stained. I'm just going to put a fresh piece. Got that ready. We've got this one ready. It smells so good. Blueberries. The question is, should I strain this or leave the blueberries in? I'm going to leave the blueberries in because I think it'll give a more rustic effect. And then when I rinse it, they'll all come out. Notice I am wearing an apron because blueberries definitely stained. So did the beet dye. Before I was wearing old raggedy clothes that I didn't care, but today it's a nice shirt. And we'll see how this goes. So let's begin. I did want to make another striped one, that striped effect. So let's start off with this fairly big piece. It's like a quarter, a very neutral colored linen. Again, we're going to use our painter's tape. I'm thinking we'll do it this way. I'm going to bake it right with the painter's tape. I'm going to put a bunch of the painter's tape on. Painter's tape is a few dollars a roll. But it works the best. It sticks, but it doesn't really stick, meaning it comes off so easy. The dye will get underneath, but you'll still have a little bit of this striped effect that I liked for my sampler. I'm currently doing Louisa Snow sampler on a piece of my striped rustic linen. Coffee and tea dyed, of course. So this is the only piece I'm doing like this. This is the striped one. We're not using any coffee or tea right now. I have a bunch of that already, but I like the coffee and tea, but we're not doing any of that because I've already got a bunch of pieces. When I did offer the free samples of linen for people to try, I did get a lot of response and I had to kind of cut it off. I think I have about 15 or 17 people who want various size pieces. Thank goodness the majority are asking for ornament sized. I have enough that I can give people an ornament, maybe a little bit bigger than an ornament size. The biggest I'm going to give out is an 1/8, and then I have a shop owner who wants me to send her some samples, so I thought that was interesting. I said, oh good, maybe I could to actually make some of this. I probably would have to get some sort of business license of some sort so I can buy the linen wholesale. Because, you know, all this I pay retail for. And when you pay retail for something, you certainly can resell it and not have to pay taxes on it, especially if it's only a few dollars, an eBay type thing. But obviously, if you're buying wholesale and selling retail, you do need to, I don't think I'd make enough money to actually have to pay taxes of any sort, but you do have to have a legitimate business, which is very easy to set up online. I think it's about 50 bucks. I do need some help if anybody has a business that they would like to help me, some sort of cross-stitch related business, and they could let me know how to proceed. I owned my own medical business years ago, so I do know a little bit, but that was much bigger volume of money, obviously. But we'll see how this goes. And if I do keep it as buying the linen retail, maybe I can get a little bit of discount. Sometimes I'll buy things in lots and keep it retail, purchase. Maybe I can get away with not having the business, I don't know. But I could use some feedback, so if anybody watching this has feedback, I would appreciate it. And that's about it. Also, I need to know where people buy their wholesale linen from. I guess they buy it from Hoffman, I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm gonna point you down here. So this is your striped linen. What color? I think the color should be one of these. I did not heat this up. I think it'll work better if I do. Just put that on. I think I'll put this one also heated up. Let's just... And just while they're heating up, I can certainly talk to you about the different kinds of ideas that I have. Mango stains, how do I know? Mango stains clothes very badly. You can't get it out. I think mango dyed linen would be awesome. Spinach makes a nice green, an earthy green. I think spinach dyed linen. I have to research different vegetable dyes. People have been doing that for many years. So far we've got beet, coffee, and tea. We will have blueberry. We will have blueberry, actually is right here, blueberry once again. And we will have some mango, and we will have some spinach. That might be enough colors to offer. Maybe get some exotic colors, but we'll see. So we've heated up my dye a little bit. This is not a concentrated dye, it's just the juice. I hope that you can see. So let's see what I do. So let's start off with the yellow. And no worries, the yellow will seep through. Why bake it? Why not just dry it? Well, baking definitely makes a difference. First of all, you get a little bit of burnt-ish kind of areas. Let's put some red. I don't know, for a sampler type thing, I'm thinking I do need a little tea. Not coffee, maybe, should I do it coffee or tea? The other ones I used both. This one I'll just use, I think some tea, because tea has got a little bit of a redder tinge. Hold on. Only on my striped one am I using the tea. I have powdered tea, and the stuff is really strong, so I'm just going to put a little bit, sprinkle on. This is like art for me. It really is. I know some of you will not buy linen from me, you'll try to do it on your own, which is fine. That's what the whole point of having fun. Okay, so let's peel this up. Again, we're going to keep the tape on and bake it like that. Just to let you know, this apron is a Frugal Gourmet apron, which was a 1980s and 90s cooking guru who I loved. He's deceased now, but I really loved him. Keep that on there. See if we can get this off without Ah, no, 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 no. Well, we may have a little disaster here, but that's okay. Julia Child used to have these disasters, but that's okay. We'll just sort of keep it. Oh, darn it, darn it, darn it. Because the tape didn't come off because it properly. So we're gonna reset the tape. Let's just reset our tape. It'll still work because I only, well, it'll work. It won't work as well as it did, but it will work. Okay. All right, so that's enough for this. So we're gonna sort of mush it up. Okay, put it on our tray. Next we have a small piece. Let's use up some of our dye. Let's make this some red beet dyed. Randomly beet dyed. I want it to be very random. I'll throw some yellow on there just to maybe put a little orange. It'll be orange and yellow. It'll be perfect for fall. If I can just put green, it'll be even better. That's about it. Let's sprinkle it up. Okay. Now for starting with the, this is the darker one, but we're going to try the blueberry. Blueberry is really going to look good. Blueberry is going to look awesome. Oop! It fell apart. That's okay. Sort of a little on the warm side, but that's okay. Let's try scooping some up. And sort of sprinkling, maybe putting some juice on and sprinkling. There's no exact science to this. Like I said, I do want to take some blueberries, mix it on, because I think the blueberries are really gonna jazz it up. Good enough, even though it doesn't look like it's filled very much. We have some blueberry juice underneath. It's all gonna mush together. Come together, one big blueberry mess. Okay. Blueberry, so I'll put blueberry separate. Okay. Next, another, is this my last piece? Yes it is, oh my goodness. We're gonna make another blueberry piece. Maybe this one with all 3 colors. We'll use up the rest of this dye. We use up probably almost the rest of this dye. And then we'll do the blueberry. I need a spoon. I thought I had another piece of linen. I guess I don't. Let's get a spoon. There's a little ladle spoon. So we've got 3 different colors on this. This is the only one like this. Okay. And do I want some blueberries? Absolutely. I want some blueberries on here. I want some blueberries. Very good. Remember, the blueberries is going to wash out the excess blueberry. Okay. All right. Can you still hear me? I'm still talking. Where's my tea? I'm just going to put a little bit more tea on the striped, semi-striped one, just because I think it needed a little something. Okay. I'm going to sprinkle some tea over everything. What the heck? Why not give it extra pizzazz? Tea powder is really strong, so it does stain nice. Okay. that's it. Okay, gotta wash my hands. This stain's really bad, especially the blueberry. It's all under my nails now. Okay, so we've got our blueberry ready to go in the oven. And we've got our leftover beet and yellow beet and red beet dye ones. Okay. I have it at 300. And make sure I'm not damaging the camera. I have it at 300 degrees because I'm in a hurry this morning. And now the cleanup. We have blueberries left, which I'll probably eat or make more if I can find some more linen. Like I said, I'm out of linen to dye anyway. Put that in the fridge. This will go in the dishwasher. And our foil has kept all of the dye in shape, and as you can see, I'm just holding it up. Maybe a few little specks. I'm trying to show you the whole process and really how quickly you can do it and easily and foolproof, because you can't really mess this up. Maybe you could start a fire and mess that up. Do we have any paper towels? I have one left. We'll use a rag. Here we go. And you've now cleaned this up. I highly suggest you use, I did it on my first one on my coffee and tea. That was a mistake because I made a real mess, but I highly suggest that you use some foil or something. Foil is nice. I put a few layers so it catches everything. I guess you can use wax paper, whatever you want. I find that foil stays put a little bit better. I have used wax paper before, but I really do find that the foil stays better. Can't wait to see what comes out of the oven, so I'm going to recheck it in about 20 minutes. Flip it over so that the bottom can also dry out. You'll notice that it does brown a little bit in the oven, and browning is really okay. That helps give it character. That's the whole point of putting it in the oven, is to set that color and to get it to brown a little bit so that you've got those streaks and everything. So we'll see. See you in a bit. No, it's not over, but I just want to show you what the dye does. So here's a helpful hint. Maybe next time I'll wear gloves. As you can see, my fingers are now blueberry dyed. That is a very good sign. That means to me that the fabric is going to take up the color very, very well. Remember, we are rinsing the fabric, and you have to rinse the fabric. If you don't rinse the fabric, then when this person works on it, they're going to get color on them. Yuck. Imagine you're wearing a white shirt and you're working on linen and you get color. You don't rinse out 100% of the color. You want to rinse it until it's just a basic rinsing, because once it dries and sets, it's not going to really come off. But you gotta rinse some of it. I did it in the beginning without rinsing, and that was a mistake. Although the linen has a different look to it, it looks a lot more scary looking, you know, sort of a Halloween-like linen, because it's got a stronger staccato effect. In other words, the stripes are really strong and blotches and all that. But it makes it a little more subtle when you rinse it, but you really should rinse it. Don't do it without rinsing, especially blueberry dye or beet dye. You will get it all over your clothes, even when it's dried, and you will not be happy. Also, I do iron my linen once it's dry, and once you iron it, if you, it'll get all over your iron and stain it. There is a product for your iron, which inevitably might get stained anyway. that you use on a hot iron. It's called Faultless, and you put it on the iron, and you, while it's hot, and you take a rag and you wipe it off, and it looks like new. It is the best product I have ever seen. My iron is not a nonstick iron, it's an old iron, and it's just the stainless. And it works like magic, so I highly recommend that you keep that on hand to clean your iron after doing any sort of ironing. Even if there's a little bit of dye left, it may come off on your iron because your iron is so hot. It's not going to come off on your hands. I tell you that because I've used the linen. Hold on one second. I'm just going to show you, again, I've showed you this before, but a piece done on my linen. This is 100% Natalie dyed linen, and you can see how nice this piece came out. And this is just coffee. This is nothing but coffee. I did not have the tea powder, and I believe this is 36 count. It started off, it's a little strong. See, I do have some really dark areas, but I did start out with a linen, I believe that was white. That was white. I actually let it soak, and then I put more coffee granules and baked it and ironed it and rinsed it, and that was it. And rinsed it, dried it, and that's it. Another thing is you can dry the linen in the oven a second time. So if either I sun dry it, but we've been having storms coming through every day. We're South Florida, it's beginning to be raining season. Not a safe thing to do. But not dangerous. I mean, your linen will get wet, it'll dry. I have put it back in the oven just to dry it out before ironing, or you can just let it sit somewhere. I'd rather have it dry, be done with. I have not put it in my dryer. I would imagine you could, although I'd be afraid of staining my dryer because of the heat of the dryer. And also I certainly wouldn't put it in with other clothes. So I think putting it in the oven is just an easy thing. I've already tried 200, 250, they seem, I'm sorry, 200, 250, and 275. 200 I tried once before, it worked. 250 worked, 275 worked. They all did not cause a fire and dried the linen to my liking and set the colors. Today I'm using 300. The title of this video, and this is going to be sort of a piece together video, is experiments in linen dyeing, natural linen dyeing, and that's what I'm trying to portray to you, that you can experiment, I can experiment, and anybody can do this and get, I think, fabulous results. Okay, see you in a bit. So I'm back again with the final product, and I'm going to show you the different linens. Number one is a Beet and tea dyed linen with lines in it. I love it. From Painter's Tape, Beet and tea. Number two, this one is blueberry and tea. So I hope this is blueberry and tea. I think it looks awesome. Okay. This one is blueberry with yellow beet. Like I said, I'm doing different combinations. And finally, this one is, I don't know. Oh, just, I think this is a little bit of just the red beet and some tea. Okay. So, I have to go pick our winners for the drawing. I will be back.